Hello, thank you for joining the Kale version 2 demo. So we're going to start here in Jupyter Lab. This is the Kale repo. As you can see, we have all the code here and we also have the examples. So if we come into the examples folder, we'll just look at the base one. It's just a normal notebook. You can scroll down and look at it. You can run it here if you want. But we can also come over and look at the Kale extension. So this is the Kale icon. And once you have a notebook open, you'll be able to enable Kale with this toggle. So now once you toggle Kale on, you can see these labels appear, which can be edited with the pencil icon. So for every cell, if you click the pencil icon, you'll be able to come and select what type of cell it is. So for the imports, there's just an import selection. But as you come further down, there's parameters, there's functions, and then you get to the pipeline steps. So this one is for pulling candies out of the sack. So you can name it whatever you want. It's the first step, so it doesn't depend on anything, but you'll see the next step depends on what is pulled out of the bag of candies. So now you can select that as the step it depends on. And you can do the same for the others, and you can even have it depend on more than one step. So this is where Kale lets you adjust the metadata of what your pipeline will be. And this can be a much more complicated pipeline. This is just our basic example. So once you're happy with how your notebook looks, you can come over and decide which Kubeflow pipelines experiment it's going to go into. We're just going to use the default. You can give it a new name if you want, or you can just keep it as the default one here and then a description. And once you're ready to run the pipeline, you have a few options. So you can either just compile and save. So this will compile your notebook into the KFP data science language DSL file and just save that. And it also generates a YAML from that. So those will be saved locally. Or you can choose to compile, save, and upload that YAML file into KFP and then decide how to run it. Or you can just let Kale do all the steps for you. So if you choose compile and run, it will generate the DSL and the YAML, upload them to Kubeflow pipelines, and then kick off your pipeline run. So we're going to try that. So we hit compile and run. We see that it makes it through all the steps and it says that it's running the pipeline. So now we can come over to the Kubeflow pipelines UI, and we had one successful run already, but let's see, ours is now running. So if we click on the run, we can see the whole pipeline layout here, and we can watch as it completes. And it does take a little while. So in the meantime, we can go check out the local folders. So here are the compiled DSL and the YAML that were generated by that compile and run function. And they're just here on my local machine. So if I hadn't said run, if I had just done compile and save, we could come here and upload them manually into KFP. And if you want to open your DSL and look at it, it can open in Visual Studio Code or anything that you like to use, and you can make sure it's using all the packages and things that you expected, and double check that it's using the parameters you want as well. So going back to Kubeflow pipelines, we can see that our pipeline run has successfully finished. It did to have these stored in the cache because we had already had one run. But if it's your first run of the pipeline, this will be a green check mark instead, and it might take a bit longer. But because it's finished, we can look at the HTML reports. So you're only expecting to see a report here if the pipeline or the notebook cell had an output at that point. And so this one shows that there were 20 candies in the bag. And then if we look at the next step, we can see that the first child pulled out 19 candies. So this is just a quick way to double check that you are running all the pieces of your pipeline. And the artifacts don't produce any HTML, so you'll want to just look at the HTML report. And that is all. If you have any more questions about Kale after this demo, please reach out to the Kale team. And we look forward to working with you.